Let's talk about my top tips for what to eat while on a GLP-1. Okay, so first up is protein. You're gonna eat a lot of protein. Regardless of where you are in your weight loss journey, you are going to focus on this macronutrient. Why? Because one, it is satiating and it fills you up, and two, it actually burns more calories in the breakdown than eating carbohydrates. But that's kind of like a small detail, but most importantly, it helps us build up and retain our muscle mass. So if you are in a GLP-1, we want to preserve our muscle because you're going to probably lose a lot of weight. So we focus on protein first, even though I'm cutting asparagus, and that is a carbohydrate. Number two, you are actually going to drink a lot of water. Now, this might seem obvious, but when you are on a GLP-1, not only do your hunger mechanisms get quieted, so does your thirst mechanism. And we need water to keep weight loss going. If your body feels like it's in starvation mode, even from a dehydration point, it is going to be very reluctant to let go of fat because it's going to be in a bit of a starvation freak out mode. And when you're drinking all that water, you're not going to be afraid of salt. So this is why electrolyte drinks are so popular, because they help us stay hydrated. We don't just need water to stay hydrated, we actually need a solute, like salt, to bring that water into the right parts of our body. And finally, the last one is actually on what not to eat. So I really want you to minimize carbohydrates, especially processed carbohydrates and carbohydrates in isolation. And I also want you to be careful about alcohol, which in most forms is a carbohydrate. And this is because people on GLP-1s are very sensitive to what happens with a big insulin spike, which happens after eating carbohydrates, and they will not feel well. They will get a lot of GI side effects. And I found that my patients who focus on protein at the start of a meal first, do the absolute best. And when it comes to alcohol, remember our GI tract is slowed when we're on a GLP-1, and we want to be careful about how our body responds to alcohol. And if it's super sugary, we can feel that same effect I was talking about with carbohydrates. So best to minimize, especially at the beginning when you're getting used to these meds.